Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome back to another video on the Ultimate Karting Championship. We've done 4 rounds so far. Last time out at Gran, things were very fun indeed. It was our first round in the Rotax category. This time at Shenington, we were looking to build upon what we learnt at the last round. But unfortunately, this one proved to be one of the most difficult weekends of karting I think I've ever had. Oh, hello viewers. Didn't see you there. I hope you've been enjoying the season so far. In fact, I know many of you have. In the comments have been very, very positive. So I just want to say a massive thank you to, all the viewers. And here we go for yet another round of Rotax this time. Rotax. Let me get out of this hut and then we'll go for a track walk. That is the track. Let's have a look at it. Good track that. Alright, this is turn 1. So this is turn 2. This corner, pretty much flat out. It's just a run up basically to the hairpin up there. I just wanted to talk to you about what's going on today. Well, obviously I'm karting, you know that. Mr. Max Future will be here. So that's going to be good fun. Just go and have a look at the hairpin. You want to get it right? You want to get your braking point right? If you don't, there's a very good chance that you just keep going. Especially when it's wet. But yeah, good hairpin this one. I'm predicting carnage in lap 1. That curb on the exit, you can ride it, but you don't want to go over it. You'll kind of get beached on it like you're doing a Tony Hawk grind, and you don't want that. Tell everyone how to take this corner.
Try not to kill yourself on that curb. I almost did.
This snail is not going to survive, so I'm going to... He looks like he wants to go that way, so we'll put him over here. Fly free, little one. You can go closer to the grass. There you go, good sir. That's the fastest it's moved all year. It's the Bruno chicane. Could you give us a good insight into the best racing line?
Much closer. There you go.
Well, thanks for that. We'll be flying in practice with that advice. Thank you. Luke had his first go in Minimax yesterday without brakes. How was it out there without brakes?
Scary.
Scary. You didn't crash, did you?
I went, you know that hairpin over there?
Yeah.
I went out really wide.
Okay, that doesn't help. Yeah, I did that yesterday as well. So, join the club.
Yep.
Good luck for today, mate. Have a good one.
Well. Bye.
Okay, let's first off take a look at Friday practice. So 6 sessions on the Friday just to get acquainted with the circuit. It's a track I've driven only about 3 times before, so not a huge amount of experience and never in a senior Rotax. So you've got these long, fast, sweeping corners at the beginning of the lap, and just really trying to build upon what we learned at Gran, with the way that we brake, with the way that we turn, with, well, basically how you drive in a nutshell. And the main thing is really just trying to work out where we were in the pack. I don't think I was slowest. It was very hard to work out exactly whereabouts in the 20 strong field I was. I was having some good battles with some drivers, as we can see here. And we got the inside into the hairpin, overshoot it slightly, and get cut back on the exit. But yeah, the main thing here in the 4th session was, of course, the fact that it's wet, as you can see. And on one of the laps, I actually managed to go down the escape road to whip it back round and come back onto the track. This is one thing I was saying in the track walk not to do, and then I only went and did it. By session 5, it was drying, but you can see there's still wet patches into the hairpin, and we all know what happens to Super GT when there's damp patches lying about, and that's never a good thing. Up behind Sean Butcher here, probably the favourite for the round, and therefore we tried to settle in behind and just try to just follow lines before he disappears off into the distance. check out the Quadrant kit bag. Got a chewing gum, most important bit. Get kitted up and ready for practice 1. And Max Future will be here in a minute. Don't know where he is.
What's up, guys?
Just as I'm how's it going?
Good, good.
Bang, 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 bang.
Why is it following me?
So Max and I had a good chat about his time in karting, which was many years ago now. He's actually been to the track just the one time before his Formula career. But that saw us into first practice of Saturday. So 3 more sessions on the Saturday morning to try to get back up to speed, or try to get up to speed in the first place. And again, just trying to really gauge where we were in the pack. And the main trouble we would have this weekend was into this final hairpin, as we're just coming up to it here. Now it's quite a weird entry. You don't always go, or you don't really ever go to the far left on the entry. You just go in quite narrow. The main problem that we were having, that we were going to have, is on exit. And we can see it here. If you don't quite hook up the apex, if you don't quite drive it smoothly enough, the kart just really did not want to launch off of that corner at all. So through the Bruno chicane here in the middle of the track, there's only really about 4 corners that you need to get right on this track. It's kind of a weird one. But I was getting passed by a lot of people there, but that was the end of the first practice.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean, I was getting passed by most people, but we haven't put on our practice tyre, our new tyres yet, so we're going to go new tyre next, and then we should be a lot quicker. But it was fine. We got up to about a 1/10 off what I was doing yesterday, and these tyres are crap, so.
What is it?
166. That is the lightest we've been all season. So we're getting there. I might be on the weight limit by the last round. So we have been continuing to make the kart lighter over the course of the year, this time shorter bolts and a different floor tray, and it all adds up. So we've got a much lighter kart, and that's the lightest we've been all year. Just talked to Daryl and Max about anything I could do to shave off further time. Main thing would be the new tyres. And you get 1 set of tyres for practice, or 1 set of brand new tyres, should I say. You can use loads of old tyres if you want. You can only use 1 set of new tyres. And we decided to use them for this session here, the second practice of the Saturday. And the difference is massive. You really do feel a lot more comfortable mid-corner. Well, in fact, through every stage of the corner, there's just a lot less drama. You can really feel the difference. So this, the Bruno chicane, crucial to get right because it leads onto this back straight, the long straight leading into a very tight hairpin, therefore a good overtaking opportunity, which we're going to go for an attempt here. So the continuation of this session really was just about trying to get a good feel for the tyres, driving on high grip, which we're going to have to do on heat 1 when we also drive on brand new tyres. And so I felt good in this one. It was a good improvement, and you always want to be moving forward in every session. Okay, we move on to practice number 3, the final opportunity to get good, basically. And for this one, as you can see, we're going to go out into a group. Much more ideal for gauging your pace. So you can judge how quick you are, you can judge how far or down the order you are compared to the other drivers. But also slipstream. It does help with the toe, especially as a taller driver. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 tenths available by being in the slipstream for the entirety of this Shenington lap. But yeah, this was the final practice. The kart felt okay, felt good, and we're just hoping to be able to go into heat number 1 and at least just get a decent-ish result. But yeah, end of practice, kart felt good. Let's move on to the first race. Okay, you know the deal. We are sponsored by FANATEC this season. We're giving away loads of items. and we have plenty more. So for your chance to win the following item, all you have to do is click the link in the description. You have multiple ways to enter. The item, my beautiful assistant, Max Futural, will show you what it is.
Here we
Has
are.
it.
I have it in my pocket. Here it is.
There it is. You want to win one of those, don't you? They're
It's
amazing.
unbelievable, this is.
They're amazing.
It's ridiculous.
So click the link, get entered. Okay, it is time then for heat number 1. The first actual race practice is over. It's time to do the business on the actual track with a proper race. For this one, we're going to be starting in 10th. So for those who aren't familiar, there's 3 heats. You'll start one at the front, one in the middle, one at the back. This is my middle start, starting bang on in the middle, which happens to be the outside, the right-hand side. So they're waiting for the lights to go green, and away we go across the line, immediately gaining a couple of positions. Keeping it narrow on the right-hand side here, on the inside, as we head out of turn 2 towards turn 3, and then up towards the hairpin. Who's going to do what? They're going to all go narrow. Okay, we'll take the outside line and gain a position up into 7th, and just moving over to consolidate the position there. So we've gained a couple, started in 10th and moved up into 7th already, getting that head down, bit of human DRS to really secure some extra speed down that back straight. Then the launch off of there wasn't too bad, but when the engine's cold it's a bit easier, I suppose. Through turn 1, fast left, not the cleanest steering you're ever going to see. On the exit of 2, not too bad. Into the 3, should be flat through here, easy. We're going to defend slightly, but then the cart behind doesn't go for the move. Okay, good. We can continue. Still in the tow here. We're going to lift up the flap on the radiator. Cart getting up to temperature fairly quickly. It wasn't too cold. It was a nice September day here. No rain like the Friday, and not quite close enough to go for this move. On Halliday, just going to stay behind. But this, you can hear. Look at that. We just did not get any power on the exit there. We lost maybe 3/4 of a second or more, and therefore we're going to lose two positions as well. The cart just did not launch off of that hairpin in any way, shape or form. Probably could have walked quicker than that. And we can try to go around the outside of 55 again. Not quite going to happen. So sitting in 9th here, we had a good opening lap, but then lap 3 there, just beginning to drop away slightly. We're going to try and stay in the tow onto the back straight. 55 ahead, Sean Butcher in front of him. Very, very fast guy. Watch for him going forward in this race. Through the hairpin, a little bit of an unsettled moment, and the cart again not quite accelerating as you'd like. Across the line to begin the 4th lap. And this was a common theme, just problems into turn 1. I was a little bit wide there. I think I had a cart on my left-hand side. And this is where the beginning of the downfall is, as we head into the hairpin, lap number 4. And you just see one cart go through, 2 carts go through. And this is what happens when you just don't quite have the pace. Turns out that our pace just really wasn't there. Maybe our Friday practice speed was a little bit ahead of what it should have been, and people actually gained pace on Saturday, whereas I kind of just didn't. But this video is really going to demonstrate to you just how difficult this level of kart racing is. If you don't quite have the pace, you are going backwards very, very quickly indeed. And you can see it here, 2 more positions lost. If you have one little problem somewhere on the track, it's going to be very, very difficult to recover from that. And the main problem we're having here, of course, is just the exit, that final hairpin, which was just absolutely killing our pace, absolutely killing us. So at this point here, down in 17th, so really not looking good at all. And we're get overtaken once again. And so we're pretty much just a sitting duck here. And it's going to sound like a bag of excuses, as but I think the main thing I wanted to really bring to you is just how difficult this level of karting is. It just is not easy. It's definitely a sport where people look at it and think, yeah, that's easy, I could do that. But I think hopefully this video and this season demonstrates actually how difficult it is. This moment here coming up was helpful for me. Well, that goes through. Then Alex Baker, a DHR team, actually breaks down on the right hand side, and the other two guys get slowed up as a result. Or the other three guys get slowed up as a result. I gained 4 positions there in sort of about 15 seconds. So I can just try and hold this until the end. I'm in 15th, lap number 8. Not really any chance of gaining positions looking forward. Try and get a good launch off of here. A little bit wider than you'd like. I'm going to run a slightly narrower line coming up towards turn 1. Thankfully this time no one's going to go up the inside. Through turn 2, on the exit, try and get on that power as early as possible. Nice and smooth through 3, lots of bumps. And then into the hairpin at the end of the straight. Trying to brake nice and late to deter the drivers behind from going for a move. And they don't quite go for it there. Into the Bruno chicane. Through there a little bit wider than you'd like. Trying to be smooth onto the back straight. Keeping the wheel nice and straight, if you like. And then we get a bump from behind. 1 cart goes through, 2 carts go through, 3 carts go through. And this is what happens when you just, again, when you don't have the pace. Sometimes it's almost worthless defending, because you'll get bumped wide, or I mean you're just slowing yourself down, and they will get through eventually. You know, if it's the last lap, then yeah, go for it. But there's 4 or 5 laps left to go, and you're like half a second off, then it's not going to be easy for you. So this was a very frustrating race. Unfortunately, we finished in 18th. I think it was actually 14th after penalties were applied, though. So there's a bit of hope there that we moved up a little bit. No penalty, all good. But yeah, not the greatest race I've ever had. Oh my god, that was hard. Yeah, we made that setup. I couldn't get any launch off the hairpin, and I would just get done every lap.
That's what I was saying.
I
when I
had
was
no
watching.
acceleration off the slow
It
corners.
just looked like you had no power.
I had no power. Like, it's just out there, and you're just like, I've got
you
nothing.
can't do
I've got
nothing,
nothing.
yeah.
I've got nothing.
You just feel hopeless.
You feel hopeless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
Really lonely place, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're just out there on
It's
your
like,
own.
please end.
Yeah.
Like, look at this, right? This was the first. It was going okay until here. Look how far away it goes.
Yeah, here. This is why I thought you were slowing down to pull to the
That's
side.
actually mental.
Like, that's like,
Yeah.
every lap. That's like a second there. Just there.
That is a second gap. Yeah.
Just there. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Everything that we've done on the car is all about get the thing off the corner. Yeah. Obviously, really bad off that hairpin, so we've changed the axle. We should rotate a bit better and release off the slow corner nicer. And we changed the sprocket as well. So in this one, we just want to see the car release off the slow corner a bit nicer, because it was horrific in that last race. The setup was just not quite there. Yeah, starting at the back. Let's just have some fun and move forward this time. Okay, heat number 2. A couple of changes made, a couple of setup changes, with the aim of trying to get the car to launch off of that hairpin a lot better, because it was absolutely shocking in that first race. Okay, so we're going to build up to the start here. We're going to go around again. We've got the green flag with yellow chevron, full start. Go around one more time. Okay, this one was our back start, starting 19th out of the 20. So we're going to just try and gain as many positions as possible, really. I think that's the main thing on these back starts. And immediately go up the inside and gain 3 or 4 positions. Put it through the middle here, but unfortunately we make contact on the outside. And as we rejoin, boom, look at that. We get collected, meet in the middle, and unfortunately my steering is completely bent. So I'm going backwards down the track at this point, and we're going to have to pull off the circuit, because when I'm facing the wheel to the left, the wheels are facing straight. So no chance of driving this car anymore.
track had got a bit sandwiched together, so we've got a bit of damage.
What happened? I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, just got tangled up initially, got through that, and then got tangled up again as I came back on the track. Okay, let's take another look in slow-mo. So we're just rejoining essentially, and then boom, we just kind of meet in the middle. And then, yeah, that moment there, that wheel was not really supposed to be facing that direction. And just like that, you're out of the race. Yeah, steering's completely bent.
It's a bit more commitment. That's a bit.
It's bending that.
Yeah. Look at the chassis there.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, so that's the end of day one. Didn't quite go to plan, really, did it?
Not really at the end, but it's all for the content.
I'm kind of annoyed because I didn't get to see if that setup change would have worked. But thanks for coming down.
It's been a pleasure
to see
It's
you
been
once
fun.
again.
Bring
And,
back all my childhood memories from
yeah.
karting, so it's been great.
I'll try and just win the final tomorrow instead. And,
Yeah,
I'll let you know
that's
about
what I've
that.
instructed him to do.
This is the most tactical sandbagging you have ever seen. It's straight, it's working now. Good morning, viewers. How are we? This is the main souvenir from yesterday. Yesterday was one of the worst days I've had, and probably the worst day we've had this season. Maybe one of the worst I've had ever. Basically last and the DNF, so couldn't have gone much worse than that. I'm going to go and run the track in a minute, so that'll probably be quicker than I drove in the cars. Ow. We did 3:25 at GYG. I reckon we can do this in under 3 because I think it's a shorter track. Ready?
Right. On your marks. Back. Behind the white line, thank you.
3, 2, 1.
Go.
I'm dying!
3 minutes 34.
Oh, it's slower. I'm done. I'm going home now.
Right, so you get a bacon back.
Okay, now I normally wouldn't show too much of the morning practice. On Sunday morning you just have a 3-minute warm-up basically, just to see if the car's working. But this one was actually quite important for me because I actually had to work out if this setup was working, if the cart was completely fixed or not. And therefore this was an important one to gauge because we are behind this weekend, you know, with the crash, not being able to do the second heat. That's just track time that you've lost. That is setup data that you've lost, and therefore you're just playing catch up throughout the rest of the weekend whenever that kind of thing happens. The unfortunate thing here though was that the front of the cart was dragging, the front of the floor tray scraping, and the steering wasn't exactly straight either, so we still had some problems to sort out. Steering's not straight and it's scraping at the front, so I'm going into a corner, it's just understeering. The bottom end, the front end was scraping in the corners, so I'm trying to turn, I'm just getting loads of understeer. So that I couldn't really work out if it could go off the corner nicely. And then the steering was facing left on the straight, so a couple of problems. Bit worrying because we've got to start third in our first race. Hopefully it'll be fine for the race, but I have to find out literally on lap 1 if it's alright or not, so I just have to work it out as we go along. crash. I don't know what my setup is like.
That's class.
Yeah, it was good fun, man. What's up? He's got one for me as well.
GT, viewer here.
Hello, viewers. GT here. I've come bearing gifts.
I've got the
Six pack of discos.
matching outfit.
That's brilliant, Days.
Good luck today.
Thanks, mate. I'll come and find you after the race. I'm just
Yeah.
about to go out.
Subscribe to Super GT Clips.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, this is race number 3, heat number 3, starting in P3. Now we got our front start. Now this one was a bit nerve-wracking building up to it, knowing that I had no track time and a setup that I was not very familiar with, so I had to work everything out very, very quickly indeed. So starting P3, we actually managed to keep that through the first couple of corners. Now it's really a case of just trying to make as much time up as possible early in the race whilst the rest of the pack is fighting. Unfortunately here, I thought I'd covered it enough, but unfortunately we hadn't. Got overtaken and go down into 4th. But okay, it's just one position. We can still just try and keep on the tail of this driver and try to pull away from as many people as possible. It's always going to be the thing here. When starting at the front, in the middle and the back of the pack, there's always going to be a lot of fighting. So you're just going to try and build your gap as early as possible. Now that was the plan, that's the strategy. But again, when you just don't have the pace, then it's not easy at all. We got overtaken there, and it just looks very, very. It was just a sorry experience, really. When you just don't quite have the speed, it was very weird. And again, there the car just did not want to drive off the corner. So it was a very strange weekend, this, because we'd taken a massive backward step from Glanigors. Every weekend at this season, UKC season, I've been improving and getting slightly better each time. But this one, there's just something about it where everything that could go against me seemed to go against me. So it's going to sound like a long list of excuses. But I suppose when you're overweight, that isn't going to help. That just is not going to help. So that is, of course, affecting the acceleration. So I do need to just be lighter. There is that. There's also the fact that the kart is so lightweight now that actually it does affect the performance of the kart. Sometimes a heavier kart is better. So if I could somehow lose 20 kilos from my body and then put it back on the kart, that would be a lot better, I think. So there's all these things stacked against me. I mean, I'm not saying I'd win without these things being stacked against me, but it certainly did not make for a comfortable weekend. Yeah, that was a continuation of the disaster that has been this weekend. It just doesn't want to come off that corner, the hairpin, the last corner. So we're going to change all the electronics on the kart, the electrics. We've changed the engine a couple of times. It's not the engine. Probably just change the driver as well. That would probably help. The one shining light is that we did get into the 42s. We set our fastest lap there that we've done in the whole weekend. So.
And today we're here with Steve Brown, who's racing in the senior Rotax class.
Yeah, we moved over into Rotax. How's the weekend going?
How's it go? It's been a bit of a disaster, to be honest. Look at this, guys. Hello. This is super fan right here. Number 1 fan. Thank you very much. I am truly honoured. Big, isn't it?
Yeah, but loose fitting's best.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been watching you all weekend. Smile, thank you very much.
If I didn't quite get it right, it wouldn't come off. But if I did. Okay. Yeah, had a look at data. Just need to change the way I'm braking a little bit into that final hairpin. Because I'm worried about the exit, I'm getting on the power too early, and actually it's having the opposite effect of what I think it should, and it actually bogs more because it unsettles the car. Yeah, basically just stop being so crap and get good. Alright, time for the pre-final. Now, our heats were pretty diabolical, if we're being honest. You know, a DNF and then a couple of results towards the back, 14th and 17th, I think it was. So that puts us towards the back of the pack for this pre-final. Now, starting towards the back, it just takes the pressure off. You don't really have to worry about. I mean, you can worry about it if you want. It's up to you, really, how seriously you want to take it. But for me, here at this point, I thought, okay, the weekend's just gone horribly so far. Let's just not overthink it too much. Let's just try to settle into this race, and then just try to improve the lap time. Just try and chip away at the lap times. Main thing really is that most of the drivers were into the 42s, like mid 42s. I hadn't done a 42 in the weekend. I was like low 43, like 43.0. A bit of a bump there through the hairpin. We do lose a position, but also gain one at the same time. And I'm not going to bother with the lap and position counter because I'm not going to show you the entirety of this race. We are towards the back of the pack. After this overtake here, when 23 goes past, that was it. There just really wasn't anything else to really say about this race apart from there's a yellow flag, 2 cars on top of each other. But the main thing really I think is the lack of seat time. I've spoken to so many drivers about the lack of seat time, and you might have just noticed that I was letting go of the wheel. The kart was actually turning to the right on the straight, so the steering was still bent. But the lack of seat time is just the biggest killer in karting. If you're just not in the kart for a long time, or many times a week, or many times a month, it's going to be very difficult to get your pace towards the front. And this is the one thing that we haven't done too much of. We've done maybe 1 test day a month. 1 test day a month, yeah, not really enough. And it's, I suppose, another thing that does stack against you. So I think the main takeaway from this video is really just the difficulty of karting. It's definitely a sport where people look at it and think, yeah, I could do that, it's easy. You just turn in the wheel, how hard can it be? But unless you've got everything in your favour, it's going to be very difficult to be a front runner. And I think it's definitely possible. I know that I can drive a lot better than what I've shown in this video. I think I can race well, especially on lap 1. I normally go forwards, but it's just about truly driving the kart well once the grip is there. So I suppose the priority now is just to make sure we lose a bit of weight, which has been very difficult for me to do, as there's not much on me as it is. But then also to get more seat time, to spend more time in the kart, to do more test days, and to really improve. So if you want to do this karting game properly, you do have to do it properly. You have to go all in, otherwise you're just never going to get towards the front of the pack. Now, I said about getting more seat time, but I'll be honest, that by this point of the weekend, I was just so fed up with how this was going. I was so fed up with the way that the kart was handling, the way it was driving, and the fact that I was just basically the slowest kart out there. And I just couldn't be bothered anymore. I'll be honest, I just rage quit. I just completely rage quit. And it's not my proudest moment. I will be completely honest with that. There we go, guys. That caps off probably the worst weekend in the history of all motorsport that's ever happened. Yeah, but that's how it goes sometimes. You have to have those bad weekends to make you appreciate the good ones. Pretty much everyone in this paddock will say the same thing. You have the bad ones. Everyone has the bad weekends. And this was our bad weekend, unfortunately. But it was still fun. I still enjoy being around in the paddock. It's all good fun, Once again, FANATEC giveaway, link in the description. There's multiple ways to enter. And yeah, just thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the series. We've got 1 more round left at the end of October, and Warden Law up in Sunderland. We'll hope that one goes a bit better. And I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.